Hello, welcome. My name is Claudia if you're new here. Unfortunately, I found a mild spider mite outbreak in my Ikea cabinet, so I'm going to take you through the process of emptying it all out, cleaning it out, treating the plants that are in there, and getting it back together. Cleaning out the cabinet is a little bit overdue anyway. It looked great when I first set it up with the acrylic kit, but then I just kept putting in more propagations and more corms, and it's a little out of control. Honestly, it probably has more than it should in there, along with a few propagations that I didn't refill their water, so they didn't make it, and another corm that got too dry and also didn't make it, so it needs to be cleaned out. Unfortunately, there's spider mites in there, but that's okay. I got this. I don't fret spider mites. They're relatively easy to get rid of, super annoying and like super itty bitty, but again, relatively easy to get rid of, and I'm confident that I'll be able to eradicate them with the treatment I'm going to show you today. I found the spider mites on my alocasia cuprea corms. They all had brand new leaves, and this is actually the second time that I find spider mites on the leaves of those corms. So the very first leaf I got very shortly after had spider mites. I actually ended up just cutting the leaf because there was another one already emerging, but then I just put it right back in there. I didn't clean the vessel like I usually do. I didn't clean the cabinet, anything. So clearly there were some lingering around, and I'm learning that spider mites and alocasia cuprea are like mealybugs and Hoya, just love each other in a very toxic way. I say this because even my larger cuprea is constantly coming down with spider mites, and it's pretty annoying, and even though the leaves are gorgeous, it makes me just not want to have the plant. I know that spider mites is a big reason why I stayed away from alocasias to begin with, but knock on wood, other than the cuprea, I've had pretty good luck. The cuprea just seems to get them all the time, like very frequently. No other plant around it will have them. I will move it locations, and somehow these two find their way to one another. So at this point, I'm thinking I may not keep the alocasia cuprea corms in the cabinet because I have really precious plants in there, like my variegated alocasia frydek, my variegated Hoya pollinara, my variegated alocasia dragon scale, which actually I found a spider mite on that one too. So I'm just thinking the cuprea is too big of a liability to keep in there with the rest of my precious plants. I may just do a humidity dome and send it over to my laundry area where I have all those props and rehabs and things like that. So let's get started. I'm going to empty the whole cabinet out. I'm going to take all the plants to the shower, give them a high pressure rinse to knock off as many of the spider mites that we can. Then while those are air drying, I'll come back in here and clean the cabinet thoroughly and disinfect it before I bring the rest of the plants in and do their treatment to hopefully get rid of any extra lingering spider mites. Let's get started. This is the infected side. Those are the clear ones. I'm just assuming that the Jacqueline and the frydek have them because they were touching. And I know for sure these don't have them, but we're still gonna give them a rinse. The plants are air drying now before I can start my official treatment. and I'm going to clean out the cabinet. I'm going to be using soapy water first to just clean everything really thoroughly, and then I'll disinfect it and I'll just show you. The cabinet is all nice and clean. It looks so good. Now I'll bring the plants back and I'll treat them to make sure that I eradicate the spider mites. I'm back and I'm just gonna get set up. I'm gonna start with the plants so that I didn't find any spider mites on first, just in case there's any lingering around on the ones that I did. I'm gonna be using Perfect Plantista. It's an all-natural insecticidal soap. It is made with neem. It smells actually really good, like cinnamon. I've been using it now for like, I don't know, 8 to 10 months or so, and I've been really happy with the results. It like gets them on contact. So what you're supposed to do is it's spray, wipe it off, and then spray again and leave it to dry. So that's what I'll do. Oh no. Oh, I'm so upset I just did that. Another thing I do is I spray the pot. So we're starting on the one so that I did find some on. Well, to be fair, I didn't even really check this one, but I'm wondering if this is even worth treating. I've been trying to rehab it for a minute. I thought I was doing good with this, but then this leaf started to yellow. It had a new leaf starting to come out, and then that shriveled up, and I really can't see any roots. So I'm wondering, I think I'll just spray it and then, it's way too big for this. I don't know, place somewhere else, but probably not back in the cabinet. This one, my dragon scale, this new leaf had one. I don't know if you can see it. So definitely going to treat this one. This one I didn't check because it doesn't really have a leaf, but it was, the cuprea was like falling into here, so I can only assume that it had them. So we're just going to spray thoroughly, spray the vessel, and this is going back into its little cloche setup. this one that was so infested. I don't see any more now, but when the leaves are wet, it's also harder to see. Treatment's done. I went and I got more propagations because I do love the way that these look in there. So I'm going to place these in there and I'm going to return the plants that are going back in there, and then the ones that are not are going to go over to my laundry room because that cuprea just cannot be trusted. I turned off the light in the cabinet for now, even though it's technically not the time that I would usually turn it off, just because I sprayed it with the insecticidal soap, and any of those like wet drops can burn, the light can burn the plant. So I'll just keep the light off for the rest of this evening, and then tomorrow morning I'll have it on as normal and it'll be totally fine. That's all I'm putting back in there for now. I really don't want the cuprea there, and like I said, I think that Jacqueline may have already kicked it. So I just want to keep everything that's in there nice and healthy and pest free, and I'm confident what I did took care of the spider mites. I am going to check them probably like tomorrow and the day after that, just to make sure nothing new pops up. But I've had really good success doing this method with any of the other plants that I've tried this with, so I'm feeling pretty good. Also, because really the infestation was on the cuprea, I only saw one on the dragon, and I assumed that the frydek, which is the one that doesn't really have a leaf, probably had them as well. But I am considering putting my Monstera mint in here, but I want to wait another couple days. I really only had it for a week or so, so I wanted to acclimate. And I'm also keeping, you know, just that close eye on it. I keep all my new plants quarantined for at least 2 weeks. I'm also getting really close to setting up my bigger Ikea cabinet, so ideally I think the Monstera mint will go in the bigger one. So we'll see what happens, but for now, this is great. It's nice and clean. The plants are nice and healthy. I just need to be better about refilling the water on the propagation tubes and giving the plants like a good go round, especially if I have something that tends to be spider mite prone, like, or pest prone, period. I'll briefly remind you that winter season is spider mite season again. I know summer is spider mite season, but they make a really good comeback in the winter, and that's because they love dry air. We did have a couple days here recently, like 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, where humidity dropped to like the 30s, and instantly I found spider mites on my alocasia frydek that's in the kitchen, the philodendron verrucosum that's on the opposite window here from this wall, and evidently in my cabinet too. So be on the lookout for spider mites. My #1 prevention for pests is to shower all of my plants at the time of watering. That's really good in knocking anything off that may be there. I don't do that with my cabinet often because they're tiny little seedling corms, and I can just go in there really quickly and fill the reservoir, and I haven't been doing that inside my cabinet. I wasn't doing it with my frydek either. Because of the way the pot is set up, it has this little hole where I can just fill the reservoir, and I was being lazy. So don't be like me. Be on top of your plant care, be on top of showering them, cleaning the leaves, keeping an eye out. And if your air is dry, spider mites are likely to be more prone, so just be aware of that and make sure that you're prepared to treat them if you need to. Let me know how it's going with your plants. Are they pest-free? Are you having a pest problem? Is everyone happy? Are they growing? Have they stopped growing? I'd love to know how it's going for you. So that's it for today. Now I have to go wash my hands for the 100th time and probably shower, just because I tend to get so icky after I deal with pests. I'll make sure to link everything below in case you're interested. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought. Let me know how it's going with you. I hope you found it helpful, and hope you'll give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And I'll see you soon.